Hi.
Hey,
I'm so sorry. You have literally been chilling outside, like waiting for me. Okay.
I'm walking the
So,
dog.
okay. So. First of all, thank you so much for coming on here and agreeing to be just giving us your story. So go ahead. Tell me your story.
Okay. Well, so first of all, for people who don't know in the chat already, I do live in Texas. I am a nurse. Um, my job now is actually catching babies. So I deal with newborns every day. I deal with resuscitating newborns every day. And I believe abortion is healthcare, even though my job is surrounded by bringing babies into this world. But when I was in my early 20s, I did have an abortion. And that was before this 6 week ban was even talked about. That was about 14 years ago. And I cannot imagine somebody who now is in a position that was in then, um, dealing with this bill now. And it's like, it's really disgusting to me. And it's really sad.
hmm hmm Yeah. So you're happy that you had that choice.
I am very happy. It was absolutely the right choice for me, and I don't regret it at all.
Yeah. Did you go through any like emotional pain and suffering that a lot of the people are talking about in the comments?
I did not know.
Okay. So you just knew that it was the right choice for you.
Yeah, basically, that time in my life, I was severely depressed.
hmm
I had just come out of like inpatient rehab, and I knew that I was in no position to be dealing with that
hmm
for myself or for any potential child.
hmm hmm Yeah. So, like, what do you have to say for the people that are advocating for this bill that just passed?
I I hear from a lot of people that they think that Christian values should be like the standard for law, which makes no sense because church and state, right?
Yeah.
And the whole 6 weeks thing, like I said, I found out at 3 weeks, and I wasn't even able to make an appointment till 8.
hmm
So it's not like I wasn't paying attention, to my own body.
hmm hmm So you found out at 8.
Yeah, I found out at 3.
You found out at
My appointment was at 8 weeks. Yeah.
wow. So you had to live with that until 8 weeks.
Yeah.
How's that?
And even the day that I went, the place was packed. I mean, there's so limited facilities to go to, and I live in a large like city area in Texas. And even where I live, there's not a lot of access before this bill went into effect. So,
They have a lot of fake abortion clinics too. That
yeah,
they
the pregnancy
have a
crisis
lot of
centers.
they have a lot of fake abortion centers that basically
Yep.
try to convince the woman to keep the baby.
Yeah, they trick you and trap you, and then they kind of corner you and give you materials. They make you get an ultrasound. Oh, which was a law then, by the way, even 14 years ago, that they make you go through the ultrasound before you can even do the procedure
Well, they do
as
that in
another
California
tactic.
too. I thought they only did that so they could make sure that everything was good.
It's they can do blood tests to see how far along you are. They don't actually have to do an ultrasound.
Hmm.
Even for a wanted viable pregnancy, you don't even need to have one within the first 12 weeks.
hmm hmm Because when I went with my friend, she had to get an ultrasound, but she was at 4 weeks, and they still did the ultrasound to make sure everything was fine.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they didn't need to do that. Huh, that's interesting. Good to know. So what do you?
It's not necessary.
So
Oh,
what?
also with the viability conversation that we were having earlier, um, I know
Yeah.
at my hospital, if somebody comes in labor and they're less than 24 weeks, they will do everything in their power to keep them pregnant as long as possible.
Hmm.
And they'll have a conversation with the mom that most likely they won't be doing any interventions
Hmm.
because the baby's not viable.
So usually, okay. So you're. Can you just say what you do again? You're a nurse in a woman's.
I'm a newborn transition nurse. So I go to the deliveries, I catch the babies, I do
Okay.
all the assessments, resuscitation, all of that stuff.
Okay. So you're a registered nurse.
Yes.
Okay. You're saying that when babies that when pregnant women come into the office and they're even at 24 weeks, you guys do
Yeah,
your power to keep the woman pregnant.
less than 24. If they're actively in labor in less than 24 weeks, then they'll usually have a conversation with the pediatrician who will tell them that it's highly unlikely the baby will make it. They'll do what they can. They have the conversations about comfort care. And if they want us to do more, then we'll have to send them out to a specialized hospital, like for sick or early babies.
Interesting.
But it's not likely that a baby will be viable earlier than that.
So what do you think about late term abortions? Because with the last person I was on, I did not know he was a pro-lifer. He told me that he wasn't when he first came on, but he was. So
Mm-hmm.
his argument, and I feel like most of the pro-life argument on that side is that, okay, well, it's a real whatever. It has a soul. It's a real baby, right? When in reality, it's
Right.
but what do you have to say about late term abortions? Because I feel like that's always their argument.
It's so rare that that even happens, and if
Yeah.
it's that late, there's a reason that it's that late, you know. I don't know if it's the majority of them happen in the first trimester. The laws are there because people will find out genetic things about their baby. Like if you know that your child is going to be born with a genetic condition, they'll just suffer and live for a day or two. Should you not have the choice to be able to decide not to go through with it, you know?
Wait, so if the baby does have a genetic condition, do they?
There are some certain genetic conditions that it's very rare that the baby will survive more than hours or days. And if that's something you find out late in your pregnancy through genetic testing, then a lot of people will make the decision to go ahead and terminate and not go through that, having the baby and dealing with the issues that they'll have to go through. It's a personal choice. Some people will want to have the child and let them live as long as they can. But not everybody wants to go through a pregnancy knowing that they'll carry a baby to term, have them born, have them suffer for hours, and then pass away anyway.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. No. I really did not want my I really did not want a pro-life male to come on my live, just in general. And nothing against the person that was on my live before, like nothing against him whatsoever. But I just want this to be a safe space for women, and I think that it's very hard to have a safe space when I'm debating with someone that's a pro-lifer. I think that just does not create a safe space for women in my live, or on my TikTok.
Yeah.
And so I just really wanted to have that like late term. Thank you, Senora. Hi. I just wanted to have that conversation with you because you're a woman in Texas, and it's just like how much longer do you have to speak? I don't want to like waste, take up too much of your time.
Just a couple minutes.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
want to wrap this up. First of all, I want to say thank you so much. Like it takes a lot of courage to come on a live like mine who has had people in the comments just saying so many mean things. It just takes a lot of courage, to really come on here and talk about your experience as a woman in Texas that actually went through with an abortion, right? So I want to wrap this up with a couple of things. I know you have to go back inside. I really wanted to thank you for coming on here. I think your perspective is just so important. Couple of things. One, what do you have to say to women in general? Well, you know what? No, let me say this. So you're a nurse that works in the OBGYN like section, right? What can we do?
Yeah.
People that are not in Texas, what can we do to help women in Texas right now trying to fight for their right of having a choice when it comes to abortion?
That that's a loaded question because I really wish that I knew.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The last time I checked, all the abortion centers were closing. I think there were only 3 more Planned Parenthood clinics in Texas. It's
Is that true? I didn't hear anything about it, but I haven't been
Google
looking
it,
for it.
but most of the Planned Parenthood, most of the clinics have closed. They've shut down in Texas. Um, but yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. It seems like you're waiting outside. Do you have any last words you want to say?
Um, I don't know, just if you live in Texas, you need to vote next year. I keep saying that I
Well,
want to leave, but like part of me wants to stay and try to make changes, but it's like it's getting really desperate and frustrating living here right
yeah,
now.
yeah. I mean, it's first it was the no. I mean, seriously, COVID has more rights than women right now in Texas, which is
Hmm.
crazy to me.
Yeah,
Crazy,
that's
literally crazy. Helen, thank you so much for coming online with me. I
yeah, thanks for
appreciate
having
you.
me.
Of course, anytime, girl. You know I have love for you. You're a moderator now as well on my channel, so whenever you want, pop in. Just make sure you give people a warning before you mute or block them, because then they end up reporting me, which is like crazy, but they do it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll
thanks.
talk more. And
Okay,
yeah, stay safe.
thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Marianne.
Hi. No, it's just that not that I'm exactly a pro-lifer, it's just that I had unfortunately experienced extreme trauma by having that when I was 16, 17, and it's something at 58 now that I'm not over
Mhm.
and never been able to figure myself for.
So have you?
I think
Mhm.
I think that um it's something that you really need counseling. I don't know if like what it's like now, but back then there wasn't any counseling. It was like you were like it was nothing. You just went to the hospital. It was like casual, big no big deal back then, and there wasn't any counseling offered or anything. And I think that it's such a trauma, really extreme trauma. For me it was extreme trauma that I really needed to have counseling in order to make a better decision for myself. Because I don't think it was the best decision for me.
Mhm. Mhm. So
So, because years later, you still deal with that guilt, and it wasn't the best decision for me.
okay. So you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to. Like, I understand it's super personal.
Hmm.
You end up going to counseling for it?
I never did. No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, maybe later on in life, I've talked about it, but not really.
Okay. So do
I
you
mean,
feel like guilt now or regret?
yeah, yeah, always. It's never gone away. It's never gone away.
Do you feel
Um,
like it's something that you will seek counseling for at some point?
I mean, I've always talked about it if I've had to go to counseling for something, you know, um, even like like I've had children, I've had a miscarriage, and when I had the miscarriage, I said I deserved it. I felt like I deserved the miscarriage because I had an abortion, So while I was going to counseling for the miscarriage, I would say to the counselor that I deserved the miscarriage,
Mm-hmm.
that was God or whatever um, getting me back for what I did.
So are you pro-life now or pro-choice?
I don't know what I am. I think that maybe women would make different decisions if they were given counseling. I don't know. I just feel like some people are more casual about it and maybe they would regret later.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely believe that that if there's a situation where there's been violence involved, then of course a young woman should be able to make that decision, because if there's violence involved, if there's a medical reason involved,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I think then they have that right. But if there's like just a person that's um, not feeling like they would be capable or they would be embarrassed, or something like that, then maybe they would need counseling to feel like they could do it and they could have the support to do it. Maybe like, that maybe would be a different, that would be a different option, and maybe they wouldn't go through with it.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't carry the guilt like I've carried.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because there is another side to it. There are women out there that carry a guilt.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like the woman that just said she doesn't. To me, it's like, you have to. It's really not easy to go in a room and, see these people around you with all these knives and everything that you're looking at. I mean, you can't just feel nothing. You're a human being. You know what they're doing. You can't just feel nothing. You're a person. Human beings feel. You're gonna feel something. You know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. So
You
I've met women on both sides of the spectrum. I've met women that just have it and they're like, it's a choice that I had to make and I'm happy I was able to have that choice. I've met women that have had it and now they're completely pro-life and they just like live, breathe, eat pro-life, right? And I think it's hard because I think it's subjective, right? I feel like it depends. Your experience on getting an abortion depends on who you are as a person and how you look at, what you did. Like, we all have different experiences. I feel like some women, they have it. They know it was their only choice. They know. So, for example, let me say me, for example, right, personally. So I'm Middle Eastern, right? I'm full-blooded Middle Eastern. I have very Middle Eastern immigrant parents. If I were to get pregnant at, I don't know, 18, 19, whatever, 20, not only would my parents not support me, I would get completely disowned, right? Now, if you would have put me in a situation where, okay, I have a boyfriend that also dipped out and was like, well, I don't want anything to do with it, I would be completely alone, right? Like, at 20. So I feel like in that situation personally, I wouldn't feel that type. And like I said, this is all speculation. I don't know. You know what I mean? I feel like in that situation, I would be like, okay, well, maybe this was the best option for this child. For the what could potentially be a child, right? But let me ask you this question though. Do you have kids now? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
You do. Okay.
Yes.
So you were able to
And
finally get kids and stuff like that.
yeah, I married and had children and have a great family life and beautiful kids and yeah. But I always think like
You always think
there was
about like,
one.
what if?
There was one before all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it just.
So
it's just.
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, it's just something you live with that's always there.
Yeah. Are you if you don't mind me asking, are you from Texas?
No, I live in Rhode Island, liberal state.
Okay. I heard the New York accent.
Boston.
I hope you're okay with Hurricane Ida. So I feel like
it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I thought the house was gonna unhinge and like go up in the sky. It was crazy weather yesterday, but Rhode Island didn't get as bad as New York. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, because New York was
the little hurricane, yeah.
Yeah, New York was.
But no, I respect people's views and all that. I'm more like, this is an important subject. We have so many important things going on in this country. This is one of them, and there's a lot going on in this country right now. I just can't keep track. Just last week, it was just a tragic situation with what happened to the fellow soldiers, and and now this. But I just wish everyone the best. I just know it's just not as easy. Abortion isn't as easy as people think it is. I mean, you see all these people that are like, oh, pro abortion or against abortion or whatever, and it's like, have you had? I look at people like, have you had one? Do you really know what you're talking about? That say, oh, women have the rights, and I understand women have the rights, but sometimes there's more to that. They definitely have the right, but sometimes they need the counseling and they need to know what they're doing to make the right decision, because it might not be the right decision they're making. So it's not just that easy. It's not that easy.
Do you let me ask you this. Do you believe that so I'm getting the gist that you are pro choice, that you still believe that women should have the choice to be able to do that.
I do, but I do believe they should have the choice to do it, I guess. Yeah, I do believe it. I just don't believe that um it should be, I think there should be a little more restrictions on it, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe. Maybe put a little more restrictions on it. It shouldn't be like just a form of birth control.
Mm. Mhm.
You know, like if there's a person going in every other month having one or something like that. Like figure it out, just make it available, make counseling available, make there's pills out there, I think, after someone has unprotected sex. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm sure there's a lot of women out there that have had it and have had abortions and I feel awful about themselves for doing it.
Mhm. Mhm. So the woman that I knew that was incredibly pro-life, she had 3 abortions when she
Mm-hmm.
was younger. She had 3 abortions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now that she had 3 abortions and she was older, she was like around 45, 50, she was incredibly pro-life, very against pro-choice. So I'm actually very happy that you're more lenient because I've met someone that wasn't.
Well, I don't want to be hypocritical either.
Yeah, that's I thank you for that. I commend you for that because no, she voted against anything that would fund Planned Parenthood or anything like that, but she herself had three of them. And I'm just like, I feel like after the first, it's a learning lesson. It's like, okay, what do I do now to be proactive so I can prevent this as much as I possibly can.
Well,
Right?
she's like this. She's like that now because of her guilt. I have a cousin that's had 3,
Mm-hmm.
and she's extremely pro-life now because she's overwhelmed with her guilt and knows how horrified she is by it. So now she's telling everybody, don't do it, don't do it, it's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know that's what happens. Like with me, you're torn because you know how horrible it is, but yet you don't want to take that right away from somebody because you did it. So
Yeah.
but you feel yourself, it was horrible. It was horrible for me. Horrible.
Yeah.
Years of guilt.
I knew I knew a woman that actually she had one. She's pro-choice. Um she had one, but she felt so much guilt that she went to therapy, and her therapist told her to hold kind of like a funeral. You know what I mean? Just kind of like
Mm.
make a little like a little makeshift coffin, and just kind of like hold that funeral and like give yourself that closure. And she did that and it helped her a lot. But she's still, to this day, she's still pro-choice. She's like, you know what, I still had the choice to do it and I made it. And immediately right after that, she had so much guilt that she got pregnant again, and she carried out with that pregnancy. Like, she purposely got pregnant
Uh-huh. Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
up for that loss of that child.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or no, the loss of the fetus, whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
but then again, I had another friend in college, did it. She was crying the whole entire time, and then once it was out, and she was good to go. Never even looked back. So
And some people might be quiet too about their feelings as well too, though. They might act like, oh, it's fine, and then they're quiet about it.
Mhm.
I think it affects women more than they let on.
So the lady that was just on before you, she's actually one of
Mm-hmm.
my friends. I met her through TikTok, but like she supports my content like all the time. So she commented, she said, I did that. I asked for the ultrasound picture and I burned it after.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'm going back. Yeah.
Huh?
No, I'm going. I mean, I'm 58, and this is 40 years ago for me.
Oh, no,
So
I'm not talking about you.
yeah.
I'm just talking
Oh
about
yeah.
different people and their experiences.
Oh yeah. 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 All right. Well, yeah.
Well, it was.
I just wanted to get on and just give my perspective.
Well, I appreciate it's very
Okay.
it's daunting talking about it. So I sincerely appreciate you being so vulnerable and open on my live.
Thanks.
I really.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Have a good night. Stay safe.
You too.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Hi, how
Hey,
are you?
good. How about you?
Good, good. Thanks for coming back on. I appreciate you.
Oh my gosh, I look crazy. Sorry if you hear like little oinking noise and my guinea pig is like
Oh my god, yeah.
making yeah. Yeah, he's so noisy tonight.
That's such a Texas thing to do.
It is it really though? Like barely anybody has a guinea pig. Well, anybody I know, they hate rodents. They're like, ew, I hate rodents. And I'm just like,
That's
they're
it's a
cute.
guinea pig though. But anyways, I might have to go soon, so I really want to hear your opinion. I had someone that was pro life, a male that was pro life, and then I had a woman that had an abortion that does not feel like, that she's okay with her choice. She was happy she had it. I had another woman that came on that had an abortion, but I'm just recapping for whoever's coming in. I had another woman that came on that had an abortion but regretted it, but was happy she had that choice. So tell me about your story.
Okay, so first, the comment right there that says they felt pain or whatever. A lot of things are different for a lot of women. So for me, people can say, "Oh, it's so rare for that to happen." And in my case, it was a rare deformity, but late term for medical reasons is actually not that rare that people think. Because after everything happened, I was offered therapy and to go into certain groups like mom groups where they went through the same thing, not the same deformity he had, but the same situation where they had to do late term. What's it called? Being induced.
Yeah.
And it's not rare. Like, there's so many mothers I have met who've gone through the same exact thing, and I'm just like, this isn't talked about for some reason. So, like, I didn't find out I was pregnant until probably 10 or 11 weeks. And I took a plan B. I literally took a plan B right after because I didn't want to be pregnant. And, what was it? I didn't get my period for like 2 weeks. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cold in here. I was like, I'm late on it. And my mom was like, well, we're gonna take a test. And I was like, there's no way. Like I took plan B. I like took precautions, like there's just no way. And I happened to be pregnant and I was like, oh my gosh. And my mom, she was like, I support whatever choice you want to do. And back then I was with a man that I really loved. So I was like, no, I'll do it. So like fast forward, like my first appointment, everything's fine. Second appointment, they were like, you need to see a specialist. There's like a black like dot at the top of his skull or like where like it's growing up here. And I didn't think nothing of it. Everybody's like, oh, it'll go away within 20 weeks or whatever. So time's passing by, and the specialist is like, I encourage you to do termination. And I was like, I really don't want to, just because I just want to keep going. Like everybody, let's just do a termination at the doctor's office. And I was like, I want to keep going. The father wanted to terminate, and I didn't want to yet. And so I kept going to where they said at 7 months, his head was fully formed. He had a fully formed 9-month head, and the rest of his body was 7 months. And I was like, how is that? And then they're like, it's called Dandy Walker Dandy Walker cyst or Dandy Walker syndrome. It's a very rare thing to happen to where like kids can be born with it and they can survive, but they're gonna be dealing with like not being able to walk, talk, eat, anything. Like they're gonna have to just rely solely on tubes. And that sounds terrible to me. That sounds like a very miserable life. And plus knowing I was gonna be a single mom because there's so much going on and he decided to leave and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm scared. Like I was like what 20, 21 during this time and I'm like I'm terrified. Like I've never been pregnant before and the fact that he has a rare deformity and when they went to do an ultrasound, he had half a brain. The other was filled with fluid. So he had so much fluid in his head that his head was 9 months, that his body was 7. So the doctor said if you wait like 2 to 3 more weeks, his head will start ripping you apart. And they're like the fluid just keeps building up and building up. So once you give birth at 9 months, um, you will be completely torn open, and you will either have a C-section or you're most likely going to die. And I was like, I'm young. I just went back to school. I'm like terrified. I'm by myself. I only have my mom with me, and I'm just like, I don't want to. Like, I don't. This is my first pregnancy. Like, I don't want to die. Like, and on top of that, if I do have a C-section, all my other pregnancies are gonna have to be C-section as well. Like, I'm scared. Like, I'm young and I'm like so freaking scared. And so
How old were
I
you?
decided that. Hmm.
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
I was 21.
Okay, go on.
So they said like his head is fully formed, and honestly, like this is, and also I was also losing weight, but I was throwing up about up to 6 or 7 times a day because my pregnancy was making me sick. And then I actually had to do an amniotic fluid test, and normally it comes out clear, which is a healthy normal sign. Mine came out black. The amniotic fluid is black, and I was terrified. And like the specialist even looked at it, and she was like, "This is not normal." And so I was so petrified. And then I made the decision to, I want to say I was 7.5 months, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go through with it. I need to put my life, like it's my life. Like, I'm sorry, but I have to put myself over this like unborn child like I've never met, and like he's my son and I love my son, but it's just like when you're in a position like that, no one can really say anything unless they've gone through it. And people are like, how dare you put yourself before your child? It's just like it's not like that. Like no one's gonna understand that what I've been through, and especially dealing with a rare deformity I'd never even heard of, and I'm supposed to keep him on tubes. Like I can't. So I made the decision. I got induced. Um, I actually passed out during labor a few times. My blood became septic to where I was dying, and they had to hurry up and get him out of me because at this point my labor was killing me. And they said if you wouldn't have done that, if you wouldn't have gotten induced so early, you would have died. And that would have been it. There was no like, 50-50, no, you would have been dead. So they said I made the right choice, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. Um, Especially almost passing out during labor. My mom was like literally saying her goodbyes to me while I was passing out, and I can barely remember most of the stuff that happened that night. But that's what happened. And like when I got introduced to therapy and all that, I didn't actually go to therapy because I decided to go to school and become a therapist for things like this. But it's just like I've met so many mothers who've actually gone through the same thing, and it's people can argue it's so rare for someone to get a really really late term abortion due to medical reasons or the mother's health. And no, it's not rare at all. This happens. This is real life, and a lot of women are dealing with it, and it's not being talked about.
Mm-hmm. So, so I feel like under the new law, that wouldn't have been able to happen. Like they wouldn't have been able to induce an abortion, right?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And they said that my cutoff time would have been at 25 weeks or something like that. And then after that it would have been like nature's takes its course or something like that. And I was like, no, I'm not. Like I'm scared I'm not going to do that. But under this new one I don't think so, because I know it's like 6 weeks or um after it's illegal after that, so I'm not quite sure. And that's what kind of terrifies me too, because I know, because I'm in a healthy loving relationship now, and it's just like I want kids, I want more. And I'm scared that I've took so many blood tests and so many amniotic fluid tests, and they're like, this is so rare, it's not going to happen again. But I'm just like, I don't know, and I'm scared if it does happen again, am I gonna be in trouble now? Because like I have to abide by this law that just took place. Like, how is my next pregnancy going to play out? And now I don't have the choice of how I had last time. I don't want to have a child on tubes in the NICU until they pass away. Like, that's not how it's going to work. And when he came out of me, his head was so big, it ripped me. I got ripped from top to bottom to where they had to get a syringe and take the fluid out as he was coming out of me so his head could fit. That's how big his head was due to fluid. And if I didn't make that decision, if I didn't do that late term, I would not be here today. Like my mom would, lost her child. My brother would have lost his sister. Like it's so many things that could have happened. So I don't regret my decision, but like of course I love my son. I love him and I miss him so much. I wish my pregnancy was healthy and not a rare deformity that no one, even specialists, two different specialists I went to, they barely even seen something like this. So it's just like if I get pregnant again, how am I supposed to know what's going to happen next? I don't have the same choice I had last time.
Damn. That's, I don't even,
And someone said earlier that they probably felt pain, and it's just like, actually no, because he had half a brain, he actually didn't feel anything.
see, this is the issue. I feel like a lot of people talk about, like, abortions and stuff like that, but they just don't really, they've
Yeah.
never been through like certain situations that women have to go through. And I think that's why, like, highlighting stories like yours and Helen's and Marianne's, like, I think that's why it's so important, because there's so many nuances. Like abortion is not black and white, right? You don't just step into a clinic and say like, okay, like, snip it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not at all like that. And you are wrong, he did feel pain. It's comments like that. They don't get to me no more, because trust me, I've had people be like, if I were to talk about my opinion on pro choice, they'll be like, well, that's why your son died. And it's just like, are you guys really pro life, or do you just make fun of the fact that women have to go through this? And it's also the same people who are pro life, but also unalived an abortion doctor. But no, he did not feel pain. He had half a brain. He didn't feel anything. That part of his brain was literally gone. But it just makes me wonder, like, if once I'm pregnant again, do I have to, if I go through this, it's just like, yeah, it was rare, the deformity, but what else can happen in a pregnancy? Like, you don't know. My grandma passed away giving birth to my dad's little brother. And we didn't have the technology back then like we do now, but it's just like, also, does this run in the family? It's something that I have, and the fact that this law took place, it just feels like I have to go the extra mile now and take certain precautions for my next pregnancy.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, I mean, this new abortion law doesn't really look at nuances like that. It really doesn't.
Hmm.
It's more so it's black and white. Like, okay, past 6 months, sorry, like, you know what I mean? Good luck. And it's just like, it's so sad. It's so sad. Because you never
Hmm.
know what someone's going through. You really don't. And it's like the fact that you even went through the pregnancy as long as you did. You know what I mean? I think even that's commendable, because you had
Yeah.
to go through an abortion, like, early on, and you still decide to go through with it,
Hmm.
you know? I,
And it's just, it gets to me because it's like, people are like, well, in your case that's rare, and it's not. I've met so many women with gone through the same thing. That's I made a YouTube video. I had a YouTube video about my whole entire pregnancy journey, and you wouldn't believe how many women messaged me saying like, well, he didn't have, like, my child didn't have like that deformity or anything, but I've also had to go through the same thing due to their health and my health. And it's just like, wow. Until you really get down to being in this exact position, no one will know. Like, there's things I'll never be able to understand with other people. So I don't expect anyone to be like automatically listen to my story and click it and like be like, oh, that, well, that's where they're coming from. It's just like, it's gonna be hard, and I don't want anybody else to go through that. Like, I want people to understand, but I don't want people to go through that. Like, it's traumatizing, and it's just like, also, on social media, like, when I had my son, he looked different in his pictures. He looked different when he came out. He didn't look like other babies because of his deformity. So when I took pictures, I thought I was safe, and I thought like no one would share this or anything. But somebody made a fake GoFundMe, and they put $3,000 saying like, I need it for my son or my little brother's funeral, this and that, completely stealing all his pictures. So it's just like I've gone through all this, and people using his pictures for money. And it's like, no matter what, no one's gonna understand. And I really hope that this clicks with at least somebody. Like, this tells somebody like, women are not here just to purposely get pregnant, just to purposely go get an abortion, just to say F you to pro-lifers. Like, that's not what we want to do. We're doing it because it's our choice, and I don't have to put up with the pregnancy I don't want, and it's also for my health as well. In this case, it was for my health. For other women, it's their type of situation. So I really hope, someone understands at least and vote Greg Abbott out in 2022,
Yeah,
November 8th. I feel like that's the only thing really that can change at this point, is just to vote Greg Abbott out and to sign petitions.
yeah. Greg really needs to go out. But so, how many years has it been since this happened?
This was in 2019, like early 2019.
Mm.
I was pregnant until I had him in August, like early August. His due date was Halloween night. It was Halloween day, October 31st. But I ended up having him in August. So, when I gave birth, it's crazy because I got induced and I got induced on a Sunday and I had him Monday afternoon. And that's when my blood became septic because I got induced and I was like that for over a whole day almost, and so I was dying. And honestly, like, it could sound selfish to people or whatever, but I don't regret anything that happened. The only thing I regret is not holding him longer. But other than that, like, I saved my life. It's it's gonna sound selfish to people, but I saved my life and I made my decision and got late term.
And trust me, it doesn't. It doesn't sound selfish. And actually, surprisingly enough, the comments have been incredibly supportive, which I was about to go tell all my moderators to freaking mute anyone that was being unsupportive or just like stupid. But surprisingly, the comments have been pretty nice. First time at all.
Yeah.
Guys, can you please block Jersey Tiger? Thank you.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, no, Jersey Tiger needs to go. Asia, can you please block Asia or Helen? Can y'all please block Jersey Tiger? Um, also, I've already warned her to be nice, so she's not like answering, or she's not like listening. So, you know, yeah, I really want to sincerely thank you for coming on here and telling your story. Like, I can only imagine how incredibly hard that experience was for you, and honestly, if there's anything that I can do, I'm always here to talk. um I haven't gone through what you went through, but I can only imagine like how hard that was, and that probably
Yeah.
still is for you. I mean, that's probably something that you're gonna live with for a very long time, and just
Mhm.
know that there are people that genuinely love and support you. Like what you went through wasn't your fault. It's just a part of life.
Yeah, I come to terms. It's literally life. It really sucks that it happened, but I gained that experience and it just kind of opened my eyes to what other women have going on. That it's not rare as many people say it is. So it kind of puts things in perspective and kind of, I gain more empathy in a way, especially towards pregnant women and women who've lost a child. I've gained so much more empathy, and I feel like this led me to do psychology and become a therapist to,
You're a therapist now?
help people. I get my certificate next year. That's when I graduate and you get a certificate, and then I go and do my doctorate's program.
My God, that I'm so
Mhm.
happy for you. You're gonna be a
Thanks.
therapist just because you've been through this personally, and I feel like
Yeah.
more people like you.
I feel like I'm gonna get emotionally too invested.
I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be an amazing therapist, seriously.
Thank you.
Anyone would be lucky to have you, seriously, and your situation is common, but it's unique in its own way. And
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of people have that issue when they get therapy because they're like, well, I can't connect with my therapist, or it's hard to feel like they understand what I went through. And it's like, it's different because you went through, like I said, you went through an experience that is common, but it's unique in its own way, and that's absolutely beautiful. Do you have anything else to say? I'm so sorry. I was supposed to go out with my roommate like 20 minutes ago, and I've been stretching it out. But do you have anything you want to end this live with other than vote Greg Abbott out? Because
Honestly, the people who are like pro-life, and I just want them to be open-minded towards women like me, especially who had to deal with late term being induced due to health, to the child's health, and just to, just be open minded. Like, we're not here on evil intentions to just get an abortion just because we want to, like, we're here, and it's just like we're women, we have a choice. And just to please listen out, just be open minded. Like, you can be pro life, and if you don't want an abortion, don't get an abortion, but at least hear other people out and to not think, we have bad intentions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dude, this has been so amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and telling us your story. Like,
Of course.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
we will go on live again. This is my second time having you on live, and I seriously, I cherish you so much. So I'm definitely gonna have you on live again. And I know some people sent you some gifts, so maybe treat yourself to Starbucks or something.
Ooh.
You got
Okay, for
118
sure.
coins. I'm like, damn, y'all really love her. Maybe it'll pay you enough to go get some Starbucks or something. Y'all,
Hopefully,
keep her
we'll
on for a
see.
couple more seconds. If you want to go send her love, some flowers. Someone's literally sending you flowers right now.
Oh, thank you. I was wondering, I was all like, what are those numbers down there?
Yeah, people are sending you gifts and they're sending you love through money. So, that's beautiful. Hopefully you can get yourself a Starbucks with 128 coins.
Thanks, y'all.
Oh, now you have 163. Amazing.
Oh my gosh, y'all are gonna make me blush, and I don't like blushing.
Oh no, girl, you've been through a very unique experience, and we just want to. My lives are all about giving love, so.
That scared me.
Oh my
That
gosh,
scared
you have
me, dude.
387 coins! Yay! Okay,
Stop.
go get yourself some Starbucks or something. You
Oh wait, one more thing.
Yeah.
If you email, this is for everybody. You know how we have like awareness days and stuff like that? Well, I looked it up, and we don't really have a Dandy Walker awareness day, and that's what my son died from. So if you can email your mayor, governor, whatever it is. What did I do? I looked it up, but you can sign a petition, and you can also email your mayor or local office or something like that, and try to request for a Dandy Walker Syndrome Day, awareness day. So yeah,
Amazing. Okay, so what is it called again?
it's called Dandy Walker Syndrome. There's also Dandy Walker Cyst, but I more call it the Dandy Walker Syndrome.
Dandy Walker syndrome. Okay. Got it. You are about to leave with 465 coins. So, go yourself.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Seriously, it's all love in my lives. The people that support me are all about love and everything. So, thank you so much for being on here, and dude, have a great night. And it's called Dandy Walker syndrome, right?
Yeah, there's different variations of it. But the whole of it is called Dandy Walker syndrome.
Okay. Dandy Walker syndrome. Okay. I'm going to look it up. Maybe we can do a little thing together for Dandy Walker syndrome, like a little collab.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Love to do that. I'm literally putting it in my queue right now. Okay, I'm going to look it up. Maybe we could do a little awareness TikTok together for it.
Yeah, I'm so down for that.
Okay, amazing. Go get yourself a Snickers bar or something. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for going on live with me. I appreciate you.
Thank you, and thank y'all. Have a good night.
Of course. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
Guys, if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow my TikTok. I have lives like this every single night. I will say by far this was the dopest live I've had. And I feel like they're just going to get better as I meet more people. And, as I keep having these. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to follow me. I have lives like this every single night. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel too, because your girl needs to make money. I just quit my full-time job, and I'm trying to pursue this whole TikTok thing, so support your girl. Anyways, I am gonna go because my roommate will kill me. Yeah, have a great night, guys.